Hello friends, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Elena and I love all things makeup and beauty. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you my favorite summer palettes. It is summertime. I am so happy. I have 10 palettes, so let's go ahead and get started with me showing you the summertime palettes. We have the High Tide palette from Colourpop. This is a very gorgeous palette. I'm in love with this palette. It definitely reminds me of summer. We have the summer type of blue vibes to this palette. I feel like the palette quality is super nice, and Colourpop did such a good job with this palette. As I've talked about this palette before, I feel like this palette is very underrated. I don't really hear much people talk about this palette. But overall, the quality and the performance of this is super nice. And just the color story, it just reminds me of summer. It reminds me of the beach. It reminds me of the pools. And that definitely is summer for me. We have Winnie the Pooh from Colourpop. This palette definitely speaks summer to me. We have a pretty blue, we have pinks, we have yellows, and those colors definitely remind me of the summer. The palette of this performs really good. It is super nice. I just love the color story. When I think of summer, I think of yellow, I think of pinks, I think of neutrals, I think of blues. You know, we think of the sun, we think of the warm weather, and this palette just speaks warm weather to me. And overall, the palette is just really nice. It performs well. The color story is really good. And I feel like Colourpop did such a good job with this palette. We have the Floral Story palette from Odins. And this is a beautiful palette. It's so amazing. We have the greens, we have the purples, we have a very beautiful blue right here, and this just speaks summer. It could also be a spring palette, but majority of this just really speaks summertime to me. It reminds me of really cut fresh grass. It reminds me of beautiful trees, flowers that bloom in the summertime. The colors, you know, we have very colorful things in the summertime, and it just reminds me of that. I feel like the quality of this was really nice also. Odins does such a good job with their palettes, and this was in collaboration with Makeup Just for Fun. And if you really just want a good green purple palette for the summer, I would definitely recommend this palette. And this is just overall a really good summertime palette. We have the Italian Spritz palette from Too Faced. And this is definitely a summer palette. It has the summer vibes to it. Even the packaging has a Italian spritz drink, and that is just hits good in the summertime. I love fizzy drinks during the summer. I also love cold drinks. You know, the cold fizzy drinks, they just hit really good when you're hot, when you're sweaty, because where I live, we get really hot summers. But the color story of this, it just really speaks like summer to me. And Too Faced did such a good job with this palette. I feel like this is really the first palette that Too Faced really did that's actually colorful, and the quality of this was super good. We have the yellow tones, we have the blue, we have the pinks, and as I said, that just reminds me of summer just because we have very colorful colors during the summer, and I just really love this palette. So yes, we have Alice in Wonderland from Sigma. is one of my go-to palettes during the summertime. I just love making looks with this. I love going out to the pool with this. I love just going out just to take a walk during the summertime with this palette. I feel like this is a very beautiful palette. The quality, the performance was just outstanding. And this is definitely a good summertime palette. We have the Soul Mane 2 palette from Odins Eye. And when somebody asks me what your go-to summer palette is, what type of palette would you consider summer, this would be my first choice that I would tell them. It literally is just summer. Like, all of this is just beautiful. We have the amazing gold right here. That is just so pretty. It's a beautiful on the lids. We have blues, purples, we have the warmer tones. This all just speaks summer to me. And I made a beautiful look with these tones right here. And the look came out so beautiful. It came out a summer vibe type of look. The quality of this is really good. The performance, really nice. I've never had a trouble with Odin's Eye palettes. And I feel like if you really just want a beginner's friendly type of summer palette, then I would definitely start out with this palette. And this just definitely speaks summer to me. We have Daisy Does It from Colourpop. And this is just amazing palette. This is my favorite Colourpop palette in my collection. We have mostly neutrals in this palette, but we also have those pop of yellow and orange and red, and that just speaks summer to me. That is the summer vibe. The Super Shocks in this palette also is definitely summery vibes. It is beautiful on the lids. It performs well. This palette overall, I feel like was also very underrated. Wasn't talked much about, on the beauty community, but if you really want a good summer vibe palette, then this would definitely be the palette for you. Now, you would probably have to shop your stash if you don't have this palette. Unfortunately, it is sold out. But I really love this palette. You really just have the yellows. And the yellow, like I said, just reminds me of summertime. And the neutrals in here, very beautiful. It's definitely a summer type of neutral vibe to it. And this is definitely a summer palette. We have Control Old Glam from Colourpop. And this is definitely summery. We have that blue in there, and the blue reminds me of the pool, and I love the pool. We also have the purples, and this is just a purple vibe of summer. Now, it's not completely a summer vibe type of color story, but the purples definitely speak summer to me. We have the neutrals in here. We have the pinks in here. And the pressed glitter we have in here is very fine pressed glitter. It's the pressed glitter that I love from Colourpop. I'm just really in love with this. I feel like Colourpop did such a good job with this palette. I've never had a problem with this palette before. And this definitely speaks summer to me. We have On a Whimsy from Colourpop. And this palette is definitely summer. That blue shimmer you see, is my favorite blue shimmer in my whole collection. It just has that summer vibe to it. The neutrals in here definitely are lighter neutrals, and I love lighter neutrals in the summertime. The peaks in here are very beautiful. The quality of this is super good. I feel like Colourpop did such a good job with this palette also. I've never had a problem with this palette, and just this palette is the summer vibe for me. So this definitely speaks summer. We have the Fête de Provence from Nomad. And this is my favorite summertime palette. It's just so beautiful. We have the yellows, we have the blues, we have the pinks. We even have some corals right here. And it's just beautiful. Now, Nomad is my favorite brand. The quality that they have in their palettes are just so good. I've never had a problem with any of their palettes. And the color story of this is definitely my summer vibe to go to. This is discontinued, but you can always shop your stash. I feel like these colors are in many palettes, but this is definitely my go-to for the summertime. And Nomad did such a good job with this palette. This works beautifully on me. Like, it just looks amazing when I use this palette. You can do so much with this palette, and this is definitely a summer vibe palette. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will be back with a lot more makeup and beauty content. Till then, stay beautiful, stay healthy, and stay safe. Bye!